You got to take a risk. You got to take a risk. You got to take a risk. I mean, that is what an entrepreneur does. Like and a lot of people call themselves entrepreneurs. I'm like, you need to look up the definition. Okay. You are violating the one most important thing about being an entrepreneur. Take risks. Because I was talking to a guy the other day. He's like, I'm an entrepreneur. I'm like, how much equity do you have in your house? He tells me like 200,000 pounds. Good. How much money do you have in the bank? 300,000. How much money do you have in retirement accounts? He had like 50 times more money in all those things than he had in his business. I'm like, man, you're not taking risk. You're actually avoiding risk. Okay. So you need to go be the avoiding risk person. So become just an investor or a saver.
Need motivation?
Watch a top 10 with Believe Nation.
Top 10, I got a top 10. Got my motivation high for my top 10. Gotta learn from the wise women and men. All my life, like 9 to 9. For my top 10, top 10, 9 to 9. This one's for my top 10.
Hey, it's Evan Carmichael, and I make these videos because you are probably the most ambitious person in your circle, but you know you're capable of more. And you get that push by surrounding yourself with the best. So today, let's learn from one of the best, Grant Cardone, and my take on his top 10 rules for success. Enjoy. Rule number 2, commit.
You got to commit first. When you know something's right, folks, commit. Commit. Go all in on the deal. Nobody knows what you're up to. Nobody knows what's going on inside me. I called my mom that night and I said, I met my wife today. And she's like, well, have y'all been out? Where did y'all go? What did you do? I said, no, she hates me. And she's like, she hates you? Grant, it takes two. And this is what I knew from being in business. And if you're taking notes, it might be worthwhile. It does not take two to tango. It does not take two to make a marriage. And it does not take a buyer and a seller. What it takes is you. It needs to be you first. You have to decide they're selling the house, and you got to decide that they're buying the house before any house makes a transaction. I had to decide that she was going to be the girl before she could see that I was going to be the guy. You guys with me? All right. 26 phone calls. All of them were light. Hey, how you doing? You know, I didn't mention that she never calls me back. I didn't mention that she was breaking my heart every time she didn't call me. I didn't mention the fact that her best friend said I was too short. Okay? You guys know what all your objections are, don't you? Like her friend said, you're too short. I said, just tell me what the real deal is. I got to know what the objection is. I cannot handle the unspoken objection. What is the real deal? Grant, you're too short. I said, okay, what else? What else you got? You're not a Hollywood guy. She's an actress. I wasn't in Hollywood. I'm not an actor. Okay, good. What else? You're a businessman. She thinks you're too conservative. Okay, what else? What else you got? Well, you don't have a prison record. You don't have a prison record, no tattoos. She liked bad boys, okay? How many ladies here like the bad boys? Just be honest, okay? Be honest. Lady over here is like, yes, I love them, okay? So I just continue to pursue her because like somebody said earlier, sometimes people change. How many of you in the room have changed? How many of you in the room have changed? Exactly, you're gonna keep changing too. Some of you you're not gonna like. So I pursued her until one day, because I know this, okay? And you might want to keep this in your collection of how you handle discouragement along the way. When you get a no, would you agree that no is a version of yes? How many would agree with that? Dude, look, I mean, think about it. What's the opposite of yes? What's the opposite of no? What's in between? Maybe. So I always tell people when they tell me no, I'm like, don't say no, say maybe. Okay, just say maybe. No, well, maybe, Grant, maybe, but not right now. Excellent, because I know no's can turn into yeses. I said no to a lot of things in life and then done them. You've walked into a casino before. I am not gambling tonight. I will not gamble. You came down to Cabo. I am not drinking while I'm here. Okay? Some of you came down, no enriched bread while I'm here, no chips, no guacamole, nothing, okay? And as soon as you got down here, you're just like freaking hitting shots, eating guacamole, slamming it in your face, right? So how do you get from no to yes? Just show up in Cabo. It's a maybe, right? How do you get somebody to say, go from not selling their house to yes, I will? Get to a maybe, and then follow them up.
Rule number 3, chase the deal.
3 parts to the real estate game. Number 1 is the deal. I found me a good one right here. I'm in the Heights, one of the most desirable neighborhoods in all of the 713. Number 1's the deal. Number 2's the debt. You got to get a bank that's willing to lend on that. We're working on that right now. Debt market's insane right now, and I'm still learning how to play that game, making connections, getting relationships with people. I've had money quoted to me at 3 3/4, all the way down to 2.75, and then last night got some money quoted to me at under 2%. Insane in the membrane. Changes everything in the game when you can get your debt right. The third part of the deal is cash, equity. How much can you put down to buy the deal? So many of you out there would be looking at deals this size if you knew how to get the debt and the equity, but because you think you're short on debt and equity, you reduce the deal size or the location or the quality of the asset. Most of you are chasing the debt and the equity when the truth is you should be chasing the deal, because the right deal with the right story and the right location, the right traffic, the right renter, it'll always bring the money. I'll tell you a story. I just did a deal in Boca Raton. I paid $70 million for the deal. And I knew, like, I moved on this deal so fast, it was unbelievable, because I knew that market, right? I didn't have to do a lot of research because I'd already done the research. So I still did the research, right? Because I'd already done the research, you know what I'm saying? I'm gonna go check out this restaurant right now, see how they're doing. And bought the deal, closed the deal, very little due diligence, by the way. Just wham. Looking for reasons to buy the deal because I knew the location. We raised the rents $500 a month already. I've been in it 60 days. We just had one, maybe two rent leases come in at $1,000 more than they were before we bought them. And we got great plans for the property. We're gonna do great stuff for the tenants there. Point is, when you raise the rents, man, guess what? You make the property better. You have more money to take care of your tenants. It improves the value of the property and gives you some momentum in that property. And then momentum to buy more deals. Point is, dude, find the right deal, in the right location, at the right time, and the right price. The debt and the equity will follow. I called the lender today. He's like, I paid $69 million. They're like, we'll give you $60 million worth of debt on that deal based on its performance just in the last 60 days since you took ownership. That is unbelievable. That means I only need $9 million to buy the deal, and I've already raised 20. Again, know your location. Get some support around you. Real estate is a team sport. Okay, it's about relationships. The debt's about relationships. The equity's about relationships. And the deals are about relationships.
Rule number 4, invest in yourself.
Best advice I ever received. My mom said, hey, invest in yourself. You'll never lose. I have reminded myself of that so many times. Workshops I go to, events that I attend, where I'm going as somebody to get educated. Okay, books that I've read, I'm like, it's not a waste of time. Even if you don't think you learn anything, it is not a waste of time. You think you haven't, that it was a waste of time or you didn't learn anything because you hadn't used it yet. You may use that piece of data one day. And so, number one, anything you invest in time or money in trying to improve yourself, you're not going to lose that.
Also, to make sure you're actually taking action after watching this video, I've designed a special free worksheet just for this video. The worksheet will highlight all of the lessons learned in this video, as well as pull out our 3 favorite learnings and quotes that will inspire you to actually do something. The worksheet will also give you space to write down what your key takeaways are and your specific plan of action to make sure you're getting results. If you want the worksheet designed specifically for this video, absolutely for free, there's a link in the description below. Go click on it and start building the momentum in your life and your business. I'll see you there. Rule number 5, build a wide customer base.
The beauty salon, the restaurant, the bar owner, the consultant, we've all had the experience of resenting our customers, starting not to like them. And it's because we become dependent upon them. We have too few.
If we're resenting our customer, what is that saying about us? That we're not building our brand, that we're not growing, that we're not selling enough?
Yeah, you didn't build the top of your funnel out enough, because this part of it's easy. Even though you hate them, they never pay you money. This is the kind of stuff that goes on. They don't pay me enough. They always complain. They never use the product. No matter what I do for them, they bitch and complain. Okay, they're never happy. Blah blah blah. Right? Well, the truth is, those are indications that you didn't build your customer base wide enough, because you now resent them. Your resentment is an indication that you rely on them too much. And every time they complain to you, it reminds you, shit, I'm too reliant on too little. And we've all done it. We all do it. I've done it. Right now, I'm doing it in my real estate. I told my guy, Ryan, the other day, I said, we're depending on this one guy too much. And he's like, why do you say that? Because I'm starting to resent him.
So what's the first thing we should do? What's the action steps after that when we resent our customers?
You got to understand, it's not about them, it's about you. It has nothing to do with them. You need to go wide. You need to go get more customers. If you resent Facebook, if Facebook pisses you off, it is because you are too reliant on Facebook.
Rule number 6, understand money.
Money's pretty simple too. How do you get it? How do you keep it? How do you multiply it? Most people spend their whole life just getting it. They never know how to keep it. I mean, we don't even understand basic stuff, that currency is basically comes from the word current, where something is moving. You don't actually get to own money. You don't own the money. The money is going to go some other place. And so, yeah, it's unfortunate, but we're taught nothing on that subject.
Rule number 7, separate wealth and happiness.
How do you build wealth and stay happy at the same time?
Well, number one is, I don't think, money will not make you happy. Like, if you're not happy, you're not happy. So it'll make you jubilant and it'll make you giddy for a second. If I dropped off 100 million, at your feet right now, it would definitely change your attitude for a bit. But sooner or later, you're coming back. You're coming back to your happiness level. I've never tried to get money to make me happy, ever. I've never thought, I'm going to go get X money, this much money, and I'm going to somehow be happier. I've never, ever, I don't even know where this concept came from, the connection between the two. I go to the gym, I think I'm going to build muscle. I go to the water fountain, I think I'm going to quench a thirst. I go to a football game, I think I'm going to be entertained. I get money, I never think about, I'm going to get 10 million bucks and I'm going to suddenly be happy. Now, I never even think about it like that. I'm going to get 10 million and then I'm going to invest it and I'm going to pick up 30 million on the next swing, and I'm going to take 30 million and convert that to 90 million. I'm going to take that and convert it into 270, and I'm going to get to, blah, 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 right? And then what am I going to do with it? But dude, I'm never thinking about it's going to make me happy.
Rule number 8, reduce your tax bill.
Your biggest expense in business, if you got a talent or you got a business, your biggest expense is number one, your taxes. What the wealthy know is how to reduce their tax bill. That's what you don't know that you got to get a handle on. Reduce your tax bill to literally zero and beyond. That's right, beyond. That's where you would get tax refunds or credits going forward to reduce your income tax, federal and state, to zero. How do you do that? I'm going to show you. Anybody can do it. It's completely legal. And if you don't do it, come on, you're just not following the tips of the wealthy. I didn't grow up with wealth. I grew up and had to figure out how to take my talent, increase my income, reduce my tax bill, and then get my money to work for me harder than I worked for my damn money. The goal is to take your earnings, reduce it to zero, still have the money, but take the money and invest it. So let's say you're earning $2 million a year. If you live in New York City, $1 million of that is going to the IRS. That means you got to figure out how to live on $1 million. And if you're a ball player, out of that came 200 grand for an agent, another 200 grand probably for a manager, and you're having to live on 800,000. If you buy a house for your mother, you're freaking broke again. So I'm gonna show you how to play the game. You earn $2 million, okay? Live on as little of this money as you can in the beginning. Do not spend earned income. Don't spend it. What you do is you invest it and use it in a second business and or real property. So let's say I take 200 million, the state's gonna take, you're still gonna have your $400,000 go to agents and managers. You got $1.6 million. I want you to invest as much of that $1.6 million into real property. Real property will buy you about $4.8 million worth of, in this case, real estate. That $4.8 million worth of real estate, because it's got real property, $4.8 million, for instance, in a deal that I'm doing right now, will provide you with $2.4 million worth of depreciation that reduces this tax bill of 1.6 after your managers, these are expenses, to negative $800,000 that can be CF carry forward into future years. That means next year, if you earn $2 million, you're walking into that year with an $800,000 credit against your income. Now you need to check with your tax attorney. You need to check with your accountant. You need to check with your manager and your agent, but I'll promise you all four of them are going to tell you this guy's on to something. Get your earned income. Earned income needs to be zero, and passive income, I need to invest in a new whiteboard. Your passive income of the, what did we say, $1.6 million that we invested, that we have left over, we literally, I'm encouraging you literally, no watches, no houses in the beginning, okay? Don't spend any money on the stuff. No Ferraris. Take the 1.6, leverage it. It'll buy $4.8 million worth of real property. Okay? You want to stay focused on your baseball, your basketball, your rapping. You want to focus on your business. Or maybe you want to invest this money back in your business and zero out, okay? You want to reinvest in furniture, equipment, if you're a musician, into equipment, touring, anything to do with your business, to grow your business. Literally get your earned income to be zero. The tax bill on zero is zero. 61% of all citizens in the United States last year made no contribution to the federal income taxes. Your job is to make sure that you take your earned income, because you got a lot of talent, reinvest that money, okay, so that you can be better talent and or prepare for transition when you no longer have that talent. So this $1.6 million of earned income after your agent and your manager, you would invest and leverage 3 to 4 times, buy $4.8 million worth of real estate that would give you $2.4 million worth of depreciation in the first year. It's a little complicated now. This is called accelerated depreciation. But this is the game. This is the game that the wealthy know how to use, and that's why they tend to use all their earned income, okay? Some of the biggest players in the world, they pay themselves zero, $1 a year. I think Mark Zuckerberg makes $1 a year, but he gets stock options, real property. This $2.4 million of depreciation you get in 2021. If you use it all, you'll get it again in 22. If you don't use it all, you'll get it again in 2023. And you're going to continue to do this every year, okay? I'm going to continue to do the same mechanism every year, reinvesting earned income, okay? So stay with me here, okay? Watch what's going to happen. This $4.8 million worth of real estate, remember this, it's in the box. You own that. That's your position, okay? This $1.6 million that you invested should provide you with about $90,000 a year in income. Passive income, okay? That's in year 1. If you do this again in year 2, it's gonna get you another $90,000 a year in passive income. That's 180 grand by year 2. But in year 2, you now have $9.6 million worth of real estate, real property that should be appreciating in value, providing you and your family with passive income. Now we're at about $15,000 a month in passive income, and you're starting to prepare 3rd year, 4th year, 5th year. Now you're at $75,000 a month in passive income. You're gonna exit your career because, look, you got 5 years, maybe at max. Ball players, artists, you don't have forever. You're not gonna be a 35-year baseball player or basketball player. So if you start multiplying these years, in year 2, I'm at 180,000. In year 4, I'm at 360. At year 8, I'm at 700 grand in passive income per year. And that is not counting the value of the real property, which in this case, if I can take this out 8 years, if you could duplicate this every year, not get a pay raise every year, 8 years, 8 times, if we did this every year, $4.8 million, you've paid no taxes for 8 years in a perfect situation. And that would be $38,400,000 worth of real estate that is going up in value every year. If this just goes up 3% a year, I could take this out and I'd say in the next 10 to 15 years, you'll have $100 million worth of real estate. Throwing out passive income, most of passive income is now not taxed at the highest rates. It's somewhere as low as 19% a year, where you're paying 48 to 63, depending on whether you live in LA or New York or one of these crazy states.
Rule number 9, seek accomplishment.
Happiness for me comes from doing
Personally,
stuff.
yeah.
Yeah. It comes from accomplishing things. Like I experience my happiness when I accomplish something I'm proud of. So when we do a conference and I walk away and I'm thrilled at the event we put on, the quality, the lights, that feels good. When the people around me are happy, when I look around, when I'm proud of who I'm being and doing every day, that makes me happy. Seeing my kids I'm so proud of my kids. They're such a validation that I'm a good guy. When I can't see the good guy in me, I can look at Sabrina and Scarlett and say, hey, dude, you gotta be a good guy to produce those.
And rule number 10, the last one before some very special bonus clips, is have fun. Now I've got a special bonus clip that I think you're gonna enjoy, but before that, it's time for the question of the day. I wanna know, what was your single biggest takeaway from this video and your plan of action for the next week? When you watch a video and just get motivated, the science says you have a 35% chance of actually following through on your goals. That's not good enough. No, not for you, Believe Nation. We gotta do something. But when you write it down and you create a specific plan of action for the next week, that number jumps to 91% chance of you following through. And when you commit to somebody else, like leaving a comment on this video, it jumps to 95%. You need to follow through on your goals. So what was your single biggest takeaway from this video and your specific plan of action for the next week? Put it down in the comments below so I can celebrate you.
How I got out of 2008 was not as important as how I got into it. If you got spanked before, it's because you were in the wrong place at the wrong time with too little. Okay? If you've ever approached bankruptcy, the broker that the gentleman was talking about that went bankrupt, it's because he didn't get big enough. Okay? You cannot fail when you get bigger and bigger. You have to keep scaling out your business. You don't have a choice. Your dreams have to be way bigger than what you're thinking about, folks. Because right now what you're thinking about is what you need. When I quit thinking about what I need, I started getting exactly what I needed and what I deserved. So the 10X concept is like, okay, how much would I need? How many people would I need to call on? Who would I need to be in front of? What would I need to do so that I never have to worry about money? Or when I'm worried about money, I'm worried about big money problems rather than little money problems. Single biggest mistake I've made in my career was not spending money. It's what put me in a position to be able to buy real estate, because I had money, but I had to buy the real estate. I had to use the money. Brad Lee made a comment the other day about money. Money is not to be saved and hoarded. Like it's no good if you don't use it. This is the problem with Bitcoin. When do I transact with it? Right? I'm sitting on $1 million worth of Bitcoin right now. I can't get rid of it fast enough. I can't go buy stuff with it. So until that situation is resolved, right? It's why people don't hoard gold anymore. You don't keep gold because you can't exchange it. Money is to be used. For those of you out there that are like complaining about the cost of anything, the truth is that's what that money's for. The only purpose money has is to be used. And I was scared that I couldn't produce more money. So every time I spent money, I complained about it. Today, I'm like, that's the biggest mistake I ever made. should have been spending more money. It wouldn't have taken me 30 years. In the first 5 years, I should have borrowed money I didn't have, and I should have spent money that I did have, and I should have gone into debt to do it, to get my brand out there, to get it known. The mattress guy in your town did it. The car guy in your town did it. Whoever spent the most money, whoever put it all out there all the time, every day, on every TV, radio, and the internet, wins the battle. It's not the prettiest guy, okay? It's not. It's the guy that out-advertises, that outspends. It takes courage to make money.
Hey, a quick note out to all of you out there that believe that an open mind is important, which, by the way, I agree with you. I agree an open mind's important. You know the old saying, the mind is like a parachute. It won't work if it's open. But I want you to add one piece to that. If that parachute is wide open, you're falling straight to the ground. You understand what I'm saying? If it doesn't open, if the mind doesn't open, you're in trouble. If it opens too wide, you're a dead man bouncing or a dead woman bouncing. My point to you is this, okay? Most people do actually have an open mind. The problem is many people, they have a mind that's wide open with no filters, no gates, no protection. You listen to everyone. You listen to everyone on Facebook, everyone on Instagram. You listen to your uncle, your aunt, your mom, your dad. When the mind's too open, you get too much data and you go into confusion.
How important is it to have that team? And to all those who are watching that are starting out their teams, what would be the advice that you would give them?
Yeah, well, the whole solopreneur thing, I'm going to do it by myself, I'm going to work from home, it's not even real. Like, I know it's popular, you see it on Instagram, and you think some guy's doing something on Instagram. He's not doing anything. He posted an image of his car that he washes on Instagram. Okay, it might not even be his car, by the way. Okay, he's rubbing out his car and posted somebody else's car. He posted a picture of Edwin's car as he passed up here in the hills. So, after he freaking mowed my lawn. So, what would I tell you? Dude, you got to be on a team. I mean, like how are you going any place by yourself? You live on a planet with 7 billion people. You're like, I hear people say all the time, I'm an introvert, and I don't like people. But you live on planet Earth.
Right.
Okay. Kind of the wrong place to introvert. So, people, I know people that can't swim, man. I'm like, 2/3 of the planet is water.
Hey, jump in this pool, right?
You might want to get your strokes on, dog. I mean, there's a chance in your lifetime that you're going to need people, and you might need a backstroke, right? You might need to be able to hold your breath at some point. So like, I don't understand why people aren't getting prepared. We live on a planet that is basically, it's got gravity on it, it's got an atmosphere, and there's one common thing, whether you're Chinese, Hispanic. I don't think Hispanic's even a group, is it?
Not Latinos, Hispanics.
Latinos,
yeah,
man.
Sure.
Okay, sorry, man. Okay. You got blacks, you got whites, you got Italians, you got all these people, right? Koreans. We got all these people, but the truth is, man, economics bind us all together. Okay, I go down to the grocery store and there's somebody from Korea in there. I'm trading money with that person. Okay, that is the exchange. You're on a team. Your team can be your team that has the goal they want to go get is to hit a target. But part of your team is also the people you're selling to.
Right.
And part of your team is also, another team is the community you live in. And another team is your church. Yeah. And your family. And these are all teams, right? And your job and my job, I mean, if you want to be all alive, all in the deal, your job is to keep you need to be a super champion of all these teams.
Right.
Not just one team.
How many of you want to make more money? Pay attention then. You can't make more money if you don't know what we're doing here. So the first thing is to decide, hey, am I in the right place? Those guys had to walk in that stadium last night and say, hey, we in the right place? Yeah, man. Okay. And then they probably said, man, we got a shot here. We got a chance to win a Super Bowl, right? You came to work today. This is not a Super Bowl. Unless you want it to be. But I'm going to tell you something. If you don't get your life ready right now, if you don't start acting right now like you're in the Super Bowl, you're never going to make one anyway. Even when you do make one. I mean, if you look at that kid last night, what's his name? Nick Foles? He's been sitting on the sidelines for years, overlooked for years. What you do right now, every day, even if you hate your job, I promise you this will happen in your life. If you could learn how to embrace every moment like this is a Super Bowl, one day you're going to get your shot. You're going to get your shot, but your shot will not show up if you're not ready. Because even if it shows up, if you're not ready, you won't be able to see it.
What advice do you have the person to up their ambition? Just up their ambition.
Yeah, well, you got to quit saying nonsensical stuff like, I'm happy where I'm at and we're good, we're all good,
Business is good.
Everything's good,
Yeah.
I'm better off than
Yeah.
somebody in that. You got to quit comparing yourself to other people.
Yeah.
You got to quit talking like the middle class.
Yeah.
Like you've somehow arrived because somebody in Iran is suffering.
Yeah.
You're good until you're not. There's nobody watching that gives enough money to charity.
Yeah.
Okay, everybody watching should be able to give $1 million a year to charity, but you can't. You know why you can't? You would if you could, but you can't because you didn't.
Yeah.
You didn't produce enough, because by the way, it's not your money anyway.
Yeah.
Somebody else gave you the money, and you pass it on. Most of you are like, I'm really charitable, I'm really good, but you never do enough. Why? Because you never had enough.
Yeah.
And so because you didn't produce enough, because you didn't work enough, because you didn't expand enough. So I would just say to people, look, have some loftier goals.
So you know what I do? Every time I'm having trouble, every time I'm like, man, I don't think I can get to where I'm going, I just start looking at the top. I don't look at the bad facts. All I do is I start searching. Tell me about wealthy people, facts about wealthy people, anything. What are they doing? What are they buying? It just gets me out of my problem, right? It gets me to think bigger. The first plane I bought this plane because I saw other wealthy people making moves. I'm not an irresponsible person, okay? I have always been a very frugal person, but the frugal was hurting me, not helping me. Your network is your net worth. How rich you can get has something to do with who you're hanging with. How rich you can think has something to do with who you're hanging with, okay? How smart you are has something to do with your surroundings. If you hang out with dumb people, you're going to end up dumb. If you hang out with junkies, you're going to end up being a junkie. You hang out with criminals. I'm not talking about the people that go to jail. I'm talking about all the people at your office right now that cheat their employer and cheat themselves. You hang out with crims, you end up being a crim. If you want to build a network, number one thing, commit to building a network. A network by definition is not, if you're building a new network, is not the people you're already with. It's how do I add people to my network? So number one, you got to commit to building a network. Number two, who do you want in the network? Who is it? Most of you just go for more people like you have already in your network. I want new people, new characters, new personalities, new thinking, new ideas. The old adage, if you're the smartest person in the room, you in the wrong room. And number three, when you start building this network up and you start meeting the people, okay, number two is who do you want to meet? Who are you going to add to the network? You go 9,000 people in a room, you don't need to meet all 9,000. You need to meet maybe a list of 30 or 40 people. Who do you want to meet? Number three, when you meet them, focus on them, not on you. It shouldn't be, here's my card, I'm a chiropractor, this is what I do, can I give you an adjustment? Dude, it should be like, who are you? How can I help you? What are you doing? Where do you live, okay? What projects are you working on? How can I help you? I go out every day. This is how I think about money. I'm running every day for money. I'm fucking busting my ass, man. I'm busting my ass every day. I'm busting my ass. I'm busting my ass. Trying to fill up the refrigerator, take care of the kids, get good education for them, fuel the plane up, put fuel in the plane, fly the plane, take care of the plane, wash the plane, right? Get a new plane, okay? Advertise, right? Advertise, take care of my wife, buy her some Chanel, invest in my business, right? This is what I'm doing all day long, And then what I'm trying to do really is I'm trying to put this money to use at some point, okay? I operate with what I call as a 40% point. I'm looking for 40% to save on my income. Whatever it takes, how much money do I need to make so that I have 40% that I can take over here and shove a big giant piece of cake into a deal? Now, the phenomenon about 40% is this. There's a point where it's impossible for you to save 40%. So, see, I found I had to get to around $10,000 a month in income to save $4. So I had to keep making this go up. The income is the only thing that restricts how much money you can invest and save. So this is why the guy that says, I'm good. How many of you have employees that are like, I'm good making 50 or 60 grand a year? They'll never be motivated because they're screwed up about money. They have the wrong knowledge about money.
76% of Americans live paycheck to paycheck. You can send them to as many Tony Robbins seminars as you want to. You will not change the state of a person indefinitely if they have money problems every day. It is impossible, because I contract every time I'm at Whole Foods. Oh my God. Grass-fed beef is that much money? I contract the moment I say, oh God.
Being on planet Earth, like if you want to be a good father, a good mother, a good son, like a good humanitarian, you got to go door to door. There's no other place to learn that. Like the skills that I learned at, I guess I was 30 years old, probably for 3 years I did door to door sales. It was door to business.
Okay.
I mean, whatever that's called.
Business to business.
Business to business. Come on, you dropping bombs. This guy, all the intelligence in the world, one little space. So, what I learned business to business, calling on, hey, my name's Grant Cardone, figuring that pitch out, handling my fear, handling the opportunity to learn this. First of all, it's not taught in college, it's not taught in high school. If it's not taught there, you got to ask why. Okay? I mean, they don't teach you anything in most of these schools, in formal education. The real skills you need are not done in a desk.
Right.
They're done when you walk up. First of all, when you leave your car and you walk up the sidewalk, and you're like, I don't know these people. They don't know me. Anything could happen when they open the door. Yeah. I hope they don't answer. That's the best outcome here, you know? And all the stuff that you're going through, like some of the most successful people I know have been on missions. They spent 2 years on missions.
I was on a mission.
Yeah.
So.
Some of the like I know a guy that's going to take his company public this year, a multi-billion-dollar company, started from scratch, no formal education. He was in missionary work.
The thing that I do at my company that is very unusual is that we are completely unreasonable, without reason, we don't use, yes, I'm logical, okay, yes, I'm a sane person, but when it comes to achieving a target, we do it with, like, we abandon reason and logic. We don't talk about, yeah, but, we never start, yeah, but, or no, we can't, or we couldn't because, or it didn't happen because. Anytime you're making sense of why something didn't work, we don't have the budget, we can't do that because, yeah, but we're different, you are being reasonable. The great things that have happened on this planet and continue to happen are because people are unreasonable. They literally abandon reason and logic. They defy the universe. Now, if you look around, if you're a logical person, if you're a person that has to make sense of it beforehand, then spend some time looking around the universe, look at nature, look at all the things that are done every day that literally defy gravity, defy possibility, defy physics. It's all over the place if you need to be reasonable. Now, in my case, I don't need to be reasonable because there's enough cases of super successful people doing things that are amazing, whether it was a manufacturing, a new product, or whether it was Steve Jobs coming back to Apple and turning that company around. Every day, look at Amazon. Look what Amazon has done. Okay, now you look at it, you're like, dude, that's a no-brainer. Make all products available online. Now it's a no-brainer. Now it's like, it's so logical. Look at Velcro. Velcro was like, God, I should have thought of that. See, but beforehand, it was completely out of reason that you could stick things together because they scratch one another. You understand what I'm saying? So look, this is what I want you to try. Try this in your life. It's going to be very difficult. It's one of the most difficult things I do is being unreasonable because all the people I'm surrounded by are trying to make sense of why they can't do something. Quit making sense of why you can't do something and become unreasonable until you do something. What are you going to do when you wake up and you feel lost? You feel less than. You feel a sense of either depression or despair and no direction. What I do is this. I show up. Man. A buddy of mine told me when I was at a super low point in my life. He said, hey man, show up even if your eyes are bleeding and your life is low, show up anyway. Show up. Bigger is better. How many agree with this? Okay? If you can live on 900 grand, the only people that won't go to 9 million are the people that are selfish. Unselfish people grow their businesses. Selfish people don't. Okay, if you're taking notes, if you're going to walk away with something today, I'm talking to the able people here. Give me the name of a great company that has 7 employees. I'm waiting. Give me the name of a great company that doesn't spend a load of money on advertising. Who is this company? Tell me, give me one name of any company that's great, that's small. See, you built a business on a fantasy, right? Like I'm going to get a State Farm. I'm going to get a State Farm. I'm going to get an Allstate company. I'm going to be an Allstate guy, and I'm going to make 900 grand a year. You're selfish, folks. See what I'm saying about the selfish person makes what they need. The unselfish person says, I'm going to make more than I need. I've been lost most of my life, literally the first 45 years of my life. The first probably 51 years of my life. First 45 years for sure, I was completely lost. And somewhere between 45 and 51, I started figuring out, okay, what am I doing? I started sorting my life out. I started doing some courses that really, really made a difference in my life. I've always been into self-improvement my whole life. But it wasn't until I was about 45 that I really started discovering information that could make me more confident, me more sure. You know, when I was 25 years old, I was a young salesperson, and I didn't like sales, and I got educated on how to sell, and I became very, very good at it. I started to understand the process, the customer, the objections, the rebuttals, how to follow up, how to handle the rejection and the disappointment, the discouragement, how to get over it. But that didn't help me become more confident in me as a person, as an individual. I was making money. By the time I was 31, I had a couple businesses. They were making money. Probably had, $300,000-$400,000 saved when I was 31 years old, because I was starting to make a little money, right? By the time I'm 33, I got probably $1 million in the bank. I still didn't feel good about myself. I had this nagging, like, sense of desperation, anxiety, depression, uncertainty, a lack of confidence. And when I started working on me spiritually, that's when at 45, 46, 47 years old, that's when everything changed for me. Like everything, all the expansion, the confidence, the getting out in the world, the maybe a little better communicating than I was doing. I'm not perfect at it by any means now. And I started getting more certainty about who I am, what I am, where I'm going, and why I'm here. Like if you don't figure those things out, no amount of money in the world will fill you up. No, the private planes won't, the fancy cars. You have to know where you're going.
How do you do this? I started with one employee. His name was Grant Cardone. I knew him, and so I hired him. Right? He passed the drug test. I believed in him. And for 15 years, I was one guy. And then one day I woke up, a mentor of mine said, look, you can't scale with just yourself. You got to start building a business here. If you're going to have a real business, you need employees, you need people. You need to be willing to hire people. And I'm like, man, but I'm scared. They cost money. He's like, not making sales. 1, 2, 3, 4. These empty desks, that's what's costing me money. Okay, that's what's costing you money. Staying small is costing you money. All this costs money. I have failures here. I have disappointments. I have discouragements. I have people that work here for a little while and they quit. But you're not going to get big by yourself.
If you ask me to coach your business, I'm not going to think about how to hold on to what you did last year. That's what most people right now are thinking here in March. In January, you're like, this is going to be a great year. By March, you're like, man, I just want to do what we did last year. If we just do, you're starting to make sense. You're becoming reasonable. Okay, I'm telling you that because this is what your people do too. Okay, your people, the people that you hire, they make sense of how to make 48 grand a year. And if you have people in your company that are trying to make sense of how to make 48 grand a year, you got a company that's going to die. Toys R Us filed bankruptcy this week. iHeartRadio, the biggest radio station in the world, filed for bankruptcy this week. There's going to be massive disruption in the marketplace. Why? Because these companies thought about, they kept having trophies about what they had rather than what they could get. Who's got money? Who's qualified to buy? How can I get their attention? How can I tell them what I want from them? Okay? How fast can I get to the marketplace? Fast, speed is the new big. You can do more. You can do more than you ever imagined. I was broke at 25 years old. Broke, okay? Every 2 years I get one of these cars. The people at Rolls Royce like, hey, we want to send you another one of those cars, okay? How you want it? How you want it dressed? What color you want it? Like, it's crazy. It's crazy the life I'm living right now. We did a conference. There was 10,000 people in the room and another 10,000 people online. All of them paid to be there. I remember when I couldn't get 2 people to show up at a party in high school because I was so disliked. You can do more than you think you can. How do you control? How do you discipline? How do you start monitoring what you're saying to yourself? I can't find the right girl. I can't find the right guy. Marriage is hard. I'm broke. I'm poor. It's going to be hard if you don't change your mind. You got to change the way you think. And the way to change the way you think, first of all, the one way is to start discipline yourself. Catch yourself every time you say, I don't have time, say, hey, I create time. Every time you say, I don't have money, I create money. Literally like talking to yourself, hey, I am a millionaire. So if you're broke right now, quit saying I am broke and start saying what you want. Where are you going? It's not complicated. You want to get rich? I got rich. You want to get rich? You can. Nothing and no one stopping you from doing that but the information in your head.
If you're not going to work, like a 10-hour day is a short day for me. I hear more people promoting this 4-hour idea, okay? Like Tim Ferriss, I just call him out right now. It is complete bunk. It is complete. You cannot outsource everything. This idea that you're going to be a solopreneur, outsource or work 4 hours or part-time, you guys try to do the part-time thing, you will have full-time problems. Forever, to the end of your life. Not only will you have problems, because you're selfish if you're trying to do a 4-hour work week. You're selfish. You're thinking only about yourself. If you don't scale and hire people, you're also selfish. You're trying to manage money rather than saying, hey, I have a great message. Like, you have an obligation, man, to get out there and help people. So I don't know how to do 10 hours. I know I need 6 to 7, maybe 8 hours of sleep a day. The question is, how am I going to best utilize my other 16 hours with my family, as a father, as a community leader, as somebody that's interested in changing the conditions around me, right? And how can I use that phone to maximize those 16 hours? And how can I spend time with my kids that actually adds value to my business, right? How can I create a studio so me and my wife can work together on Wednesdays? Like, everything that we do here is about my life, so that I'm dropping stuff into my life bucket. My work gets dropped in here, so it's like everything I do. I go on a trip, I go look at real estate, I do an interview, I set up a house in Deer Valley for a month. I have people come over, investors, I look at real estate. Everything is basically, what is it?
You're churning.
Yeah, exactly. Inside a soup, right? I'm making a meal called my life. And that's what I would tell people to do. Quit thinking about how little you can do and start thinking about how many different things can I do in the same day. Make decisions quickly so that I can sell things quickly. Because if you do it a certain way, you give yourself permission to ask other people to do the same thing. It's built-in ethics. At the end of the last year, on December the 13th or 14th, Captain Ryan's in the room. I said, dude, we're going to buy a plane by the end of the year. Okay, I'm going to wipe out my tax bill. I'm going to buy a damn plane, and we're going to wipe it out. Okay, I bought a plane in less than 9 days. Brand new plane in 9 days. The guy at Gulfstream says, dude, nobody does this. Most people take 9 months. Some people take 9 years. 9 days, we bought the plane. Bought it, shopped it, bought it, closed it.
He's like, nobody does that. It's ridiculous. Huge purchase, big purchase. Typically a very long cycle, a lot of shopping. Guarantee you that decision that quickly will make me a lot of money. You understand why? That's how I make decisions, man. So what do I expect you guys to make decisions the same way? I spent $50 million in freaking 90 minutes, and you guys take freaking 9 months to spend $6,000. Make decisions quick. Make decisions as fast as you can. Stay certain. You can get new money. Everybody agree? See, when I do that in my own life, I can press you to do the same thing. I've given myself permission, and in this universe, given myself permission to push people to do things faster. If you take a long time to do things, your buyer will then be allowed to take a long time to do things. You shop a second place, a third place, a fourth place, a fifth place, a sixth place, guess what? They will too. You got to get a best deal because your daddy taught you to get a good deal, never be taken advantage of, shop 2 and 3 places, get your best discount, it's got to be on sale. Then guess what? Every customer you have is going to what? Give me a deal, man. Give me a deal, man. Give me a deal, man. Okay? Your worst customers are the ones you give the best deal to. Never can make them happy. They want something. Oh, give me something extra. Give me something else. The mooch. Never satisfied. Right or wrong? Because you guys are mooches. You guys are mooches. Just be honest, man. You can't fix what you deny. You're a mooch, they're going to be a mooch. They're cheap, they're going to be cheap. You're cheap, they're going to be cheap. You take a long time, they're going to take a long time. You shop 4 or 5 places, they're going to do the same thing. You need more information, they're going to do the same thing. You got to have your wife involved, they're going to do the same thing.
LeBron shows up. This dude comes in 15 minutes before practice, and LeBron gives him that look like, hey, dude, what's going on here? He's like, what do you mean I'm 15 minutes early? He's like, should have been here an hour ago. And when he says that to this dude, the guy knows LeBron's been there for 2 hours. So all I ask you to do, like, here's a guy, probably the best that's ever walked out on a basketball court, short of Michael Jordan. But both of them had one thing in common. They worked, okay? It wasn't about just their talent. It was about their work ethic. People knew them for their work ethic. So just ask yourself this week, do people know you for your work ethic? Are people like, man, you work hard? Are people actually commenting about you showing up early and staying late? Because if they're not, then you're just blending in with everybody else's work ethic. At the end of the day, talent will not win the game. It is work ethic that will win the game. So when I saw this, I'm like, here's a guy, top of his game, he's got all the money you could possibly, he could never spend all his money. Impossible. He'll be a billionaire. Okay? And he's showing up 2 hours early to make sure he plays the game, to make sure he's in physical condition, to make sure that he can stay in the game long past it. He doesn't even need it. He's got all his rings. I got to tell you, I was so inspired by it because I got a bunch of partners. I got guys that I do business with. I got one of them in particular that I'm having some problems with. He told me, man, if I had your money, dude, I would retire. He said it to me over and over, and I hadn't been listening to it enough to understand he wants to go lay down, okay? You cannot run, what's that thing called you did? Ironman. You can't do an Ironman with that attitude. Don't know why you'd want to do an Ironman. But I tell you what, if you could do an Ironman and then take that and add it to your career, to the longevity of your career, you know, because look, it's going to be 5 years from now, 10 years from now, it's going to be 20 years. You're going to look back and say, and the marketplace is going to reward whatever you do every day.
I'm in a lot of battles every day that nobody sees. I mean, some of these battles are brutal, man. Like there's some things, it doesn't matter how many people you have around. You could have 85 employees, another 150 some other place. You could be married, have kids. There are so many things that a person, if you're in the game all the way, you will have to do by yourself. You're gonna die by yourself. Like, it doesn't matter how many people you get around. Dude, there's some things you gotta confront your fears by yourself. You gotta confront your doubts by yourself. Like, that's the stuff that I'm doing every day. So I'm stringing a lot of futures. I got a lot of games going on all the time. I got a lot of games I wanna win at. Half of them I lose, half of them I win, but I'm gonna fight. Like I have a tremendous, I don't have the flight.
Fight or flight.
I have the fight. I'm a fighter. Like, I've really trained the fighter because I remember being bullied as a kid and I didn't like it. So You know, I'm a fighter. I'm in there figuring out the fight. Like all this stuff that I do all the time, the webinar, I've done 3 webinars in 22 days. Nobody's done that. Nobody's ever done bang, 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 bang. Two are free. The third one we sell. Like, I mean, super successful. These are best-selling, multi-million-dollar webinars out of an idea. While I'm doing that, I'm negotiating a $160 million sale, $125 million refinance, $160 million purchase. We started our 4th fund. Dude, just like, how do you do it? The more you guys get going on, the better you're going to like the game. I'm telling you. You're confused, man. You want more activity. You want more threats. You don't want less. You got to slow down, y'all. When you slow down, the environment becomes threatening. When you speed up, it becomes your environment. This car right here, this Rolls Royce Wraith with the magic astrological zodiac sign built into the ceiling with little sparkles. Dumbest damn thing you could ever buy in your life is a big, expensive luxury car. In fact, okay, in my rant today, I want to share with you one of the things that I did smart in my life was I never bought these exotic cars that everybody seems to go out and buy as soon as they make a little money. What I did was this. I waited to ever do a dumb thing like this. One of the dumbest things I ever bought in my damn life, okay? I waited until, number 1, I didn't have to buy one, and number 2, until it didn't matter. I just got my financial statement in 3 months. The first 3 months of this year compared to last year, a double. You understand what a double is? A double means I can do stupid shit now, okay? Look, once you make enough money to where you can blow $461,000 and it don't matter, then go do it, okay? Until then, do not waste your money. I'm sorry, this car was only $384,000. I didn't want to exaggerate to you, but I think they added some stuff to this bad boy. So look, until then, don't waste your money on watches and cars and Brioni suits, okay? It's ridiculous. You guys that are buying $1,200 shoes, stupid. You guys that are buying $200,000 cars, stupid. You guys that are spending money on homes, no offense, but you're stupid. You don't need an expensive house. You don't need a country club yet. What you need is paper. You need money, baby. You need net worth. You need passive income. You need flows, baby. Flows and flows and flows. You don't need a Rolls Royce.
Fear is the great indicator. Sooner or later, you will experience fear when you start taking new actions at new levels. In fact, if you aren't, then you're probably not doing enough of the right things. Fear isn't bad or something to be avoided. Conversely, it's something you want to seek and then to embrace. Fear is actually a sign that you're doing what is needed to move in the right direction. What is fear anyway? I mean, really, does it even exist? Is it real? I know it feels real when you're experiencing it, but admit it, most of the time, what you fear doesn't even occur. Fear, for the most part, is provoked by emotions, not rational thinking. Chances are that when you were a child, you found fear in irrational things, the boogeyman under the bed, for example. Adults have their own boogeymen, the unknown, rejection, failure, fear of success, and on and on. For example, if you're afraid to call a client, then it's that sign that you should call that client. Fear of speaking with the boss is an indication you should march into his office and ask for a moment of his time. Everyone experiences fear on some level. Fear doesn't just tell you what to do, it also tells you when to do it. Ask yourself, what time is it at any point in the day? And the answer is always the same. The time is now. The time is always now. And when you experience fear, it's a sign that the best time to take action is at that very moment. Now, the only thing that will make a difference in that moment of fear is action. Failure comes in many forms. It occurs whether you act or you don't act. Regardless of the outcome, I would say it's far preferable to fail while doing something than to fail by over-preparing while someone else walks up and scoops up your dreams. Fear is a sign to do whatever it is you fear and do it quickly.
I grew up in Lake Charles, Louisiana, for those of you who don't know my story, and my dad was, he had 5 kids, wife. He was dedicated and committed to being the provider for his family, like many of you are. How many of you provide for your family? probably want to do a good job at it. My dad wanted to do a good job at it. So my dad died when I was 10 years old. He had owned a life insurance company. He actually started a life insurance company. It was taken from him and a partner. It was taken from him at the age of, I guess he was 42 years old. 42 years old, he's got 5 kids. He's got a wife to take care of and no job. How many have been in transition before? Yeah. So 42, a lot of obligation now, starting to move into the middle class. 42 years old, he's got twin boys coming. They didn't plan us. You know, good Catholic family, doing the planning. Every 5 years they'd have a baby. So he was planning. You could tell, like when I look back in his life today. This is a long answer to a short question, but like you guys need to figure out your why you're going to do whatever you're going to do. My dad knew why he was going to do what he was going to do, but my dad didn't think big enough. I got 2 things from my dad. One, every day he worked, he was up early, he stayed late. He's in transition between 42 and 52. He's in transition in his life, right? He's having to go from life insurance company, big dream, company gets stolen away from him. He's like, what am I doing? Right? This is the story of the middle class right here. This is called gravity. This is yesterday's Miami bridge falling. And everybody's like, I can't believe that happened. Structures fall, folks. So this is what I learned from my dad. My mom had to sell a dream house that was paid for in cash. My dad bought a dream house a year and a half before he died. We all went in, celebrated. Oh my God, this is unbelievable. This is crazy. This is great. We made it to the middle class. My dad dies. My mom has to sell the house literally a week after my dad dies. When she should have been grieving, she was having to sell this dream house. You understand what I'm saying? This is what I learned when I was 10 years old. Man, life is short. Okay? My dad didn't provide. He worked hard, but he didn't have enough. Because if he had enough, my mom would not have had to sell the dream house. Everybody agree with that? Okay? My mom did not know how to produce new income, so my mom had to go into conservation. So when you ask me the question, how'd you start? I started with the wrong data. Okay? I started with the wrong data. And the data was, hey, life is short, something bad's gonna happen, all that's true. But if you could outproduce, if you could produce enough income, you could start solving some of these problems, like indestructible income.
My daddy told me Dr. Care, our local doctor, he was the most successful doctor we knew both the most successful doctors, Dr. Care and Dr. Morin, right? And Dr. Care was at the house and they're drinking martinis. I'm like, damn, I'm gonna do that too. I'm gonna drink martinis, I'm gonna be James Bond, right? And Dr. Care came up to me and says, give me $1. I had $1 too. He's like, give me that $1. I'm like, I ain't giving you $1. My daddy said, never deny a man in power. Never deny a man in power, okay? Never talk poorly about somebody in power. Push power to power. That's a good investment, folks, okay? If you're taking notes, write this down. Push power to power. People that are doing good things, people that are making a difference, people that are out there, push power to power and ignore everyone else. We don't help people that have nothing. I'm telling you right now, I do not help people that have nothing. I help people that have something and want to make it more. I'm not talking about money right now. If somebody thinks they have nothing, I'm not helping that person. If they think they have nothing, I can't help them. If you think you have something and that you're not broke, I can help you. Because you're not broke, okay? This lie you tell yourself about, I don't have any money, I don't have any money. You have something, man. You got commitment. You got creativity. You can't bankrupt a guy like me. How you gonna take all my money? I get asked this all the time. Man, what would you do if somebody took all your money? Ain't nobody gonna take all my money. Okay, nobody can take all my money. Nobody thinks big enough. You can't steal all my money, dude. A thief never thinks big enough. That's why he steals. A thief steals less than he could have made honestly. Okay, but if I didn't have any money today, take away everything, whatever that means, everything is, I'm still left with what? I'm Grant Cardone. I got courage. I have creativity. Those are the things that matter. Okay, I'm willing to come off of a damn
whatever that thing is, the box. I got guts. I'm willing to be bold, right? How many of you have those things? How many of you got courage? How many of you got creativity? How many of you got guts? How many of you got dreams? Who do you work with, live with, hang with that's causing you to put a brake when you accelerate? This is a huge issue, okay? This is a mental issue, totally mental, totally about who's playing in your park, in your business park. Who's telling you? Oh, by the way, it could be somebody you sleep with, it could be the information your kids are bringing from school, it could be your mom and dad, it could be all those, it could be the paper you're reading, the Instagram you're watching, the Facebook you're looking at, it could be all that. You know, you get advice from me and you go flip over to Dave Ramsey, you're going to see this conflict. Like, okay, Grant's using debt, Dave's not. Who's right? So pick somebody and go deep with that person. If you're going to pick a mentor, one of the biggest questions I get is, how do I pick a mentor? You got to get rid of mentors. You guys already have too many. Yo, listen to everybody. An open mind is not always a good thing. When a parachute opens like this, we're good. A wide open mind means this: I take information from anybody and everybody. What you want to do is like this. Like, you want to run the race with blinders on. Get your data. If I have a wrong piece of data that I'm stable on, I'm probably going to be more effective than a right piece of data that I'm unsure about. Number two, I would quit being small. That's the first thing you said, I'm a small company. You're not going to make it. You can't make it. It's impossible. You're not going to survive in the jungle being a small animal by yourself. What animal does this? Everybody in the room, if you're trying to stay small, you will die. The reason you're staying small is because you won't spend money. And the reason you won't spend money is because somebody got up in your head and said, hey man, money is scarce, it's a problem. There's no shortage of money on this planet, bro. You need to go get some money, take that money, invest it in people, right? You need to get a herd around you. You need to get a herd around you so that when the tiger comes, the elephants are like, yeah? What you doing, man? You come all by yourself? That's stupid, look at us, right? So you need to get a herd, man, okay? And you need to train the herd to protect, to defend, to feed, to hunt. And so that's all I would tell you. You got to get a posse. You got to start thinking, how big can I get? When I started my business, I'd get money and I'd save it. I'd get money and I'd save it. I'd get money and I'd save it. And I didn't spend money in marketing and branding. So when I was writing the 10X rule, I'm like, dude, why am I not bigger than I've been busting my working so hard. I've been pushing and shoving. I have the best products of anybody in my space. I know I have the biggest platform of products and the best products. Why are other guys kicking my ass? And I'm like, dude, you haven't reinvested the money in marketing and branding, right? I was not spending money. I look at the mattress guy in Boston. I look at the car dealer in Boston. Herb Chambers outspends everybody.
Crushes.
The mattress guy outspends everybody. The my pillow guy on TV, he who knows what he spends? He might spend $100 million a year in advertising to get $1 billion. And I'm like, oh my God, dumb. You didn't market and you didn't advertise. So this month we'll spend probably $1 million on advertising. My whole life I've been told, be yourself. Be yourself. Just be yourself, Grant. Still today, on the second half of my life, I'm still trying to figure out exactly what that means to be myself. In fact, I would tell you it's probably bad advice. That's right, you want to become someone else. Look, if I was just going to be who I am, who I was, Grant, just be yourself, I'd still be in Lake Charles, Louisiana. I'd have a job that I had 30 years ago. Nothing wrong with that job, but if I was just going to be myself, whatever that means exactly, you really need to ask yourself, what does it mean? What do some of these little quaint, very common sayings mean? Every time I hear a common saying, something that the masses agree with, I think to myself, is that true? Just be yourself. Just be yourself. Just be broke. Just be lazy. Just be your problem, your handicap, your issue, your weakness,
your one strength, just be that? I don't think so. I think we're all meant to be a lot more than we're pretending to be right now. You have to become someone else before you even discover who you really are. I promise you this is true. You're gonna have to become someone else. The real you. You don't know that person yet. He or she's been overeducated or undereducated. One of the two. It's nothing. You didn't get the perfect amount of education to actually become who you are, because colleges and the school systems don't teach you how to find and discover the real you. I've spent, 30 years of my life just stripping away at the parts of me that aren't me. The poor Louisiana boy, the middle class boy, the I gotta save all my money boy, the I can't trust people. Stay tight, stay close, stay small. Don't get too big, don't get too much attention. I had to strip all that boy away. By the way, there's been hundreds of layers of false information, wrong information, incorrect data, assumed identities, by the way. Dude, I was operating like a junkie and an alcoholic for years, told that alcoholism and drug addiction ran in my family, and I somehow adopted this. Just be yourself. See, if I was still just being myself, whatever that means, I'd still be a junkie in Lake Charles, Louisiana, but I'm not. Okay, I decided to become the me I'm supposed to be.
The length of time between the idea and the execution is going to determine how much money you guys make. Get out of maybe. Stay out of maybe land. If you can get your customer to maybe, that's good. You guys need to stay out of maybe land. Maybe land is where doubt lives. Doubt slows down the organization. Oh God, what do I do? First time I met Jared had been in my office 3 or 4 weeks working. First time I met him, I walked up, who are you, man? I'm Jared. What are you doing, Jared? I'm making a list. I said, dude, I don't pay you to make a list, make a call. Okay, you got an idea to come work for me? Pick up the phone and call somebody, because that list will not pay you. The only thing that's going to pay you is the call, right? So I'm not planning, I'm producing. We don't spend enough time at my company planning. So this is what happens at our company, okay? And look, we don't do everything right there. Most of the time, this is what happens. I have an idea. Okay, I got a lot of ideas. How many of you got a lot of ideas? Okay, that idea is only as good as you can monetize that idea. Otherwise, it's worth nothing. The faster I can monetize this idea, the better that idea is. How many agree with that? So I go from idea to monetization. We're going to be going over this later today. This is what you do. You go from an idea to planning. I go with an idea, landing page, buy a button, put a price on it, not even a picture of a product. So how long is it taking you to go from an idea to monetization? And by the way, how many people are involved? There was 2 people involved. We have 85 people at my company. I didn't involve anybody else. The more people you involved, if you're taking notes, the more people you involved, the longer it is going to take to get to a deliverable product. I don't need more ideas. I need execution. Planning, not production. You're spending time planning, thinking, ideas, buy-in, get everybody's input. I want everybody to feel good about it. Dude, I don't care about any of that. I didn't check with anybody. Okay? I can be wrong on my own. Right? I don't need to spend time and be wrong. Let me just get to wrong as fast as I can.
If you want 10 more amazing rules from Grant Cardone, check out the video right there next to me. I think you'll love it. Continue to believe, and I'll see you there.
Have you ever acted your way into a hole? I mean, because you just make decisions. You ever made one too quick and it's like, oh, that was the wrong one.
More often than not, dude, my instincts are right.